Why is Spider-Man struggling to shoot webs? Spider-Man, Brand New Day explained. Warning, this video contains major spoilers for Spider-Man Brand New Day. We'll be discussing Peter Parker's mysterious new powers, why he's suddenly struggling to control his webs, and what it could mean for the future of Spider-Man. Let's jump in. One of the biggest surprises in Spider-Man Brand New Day isn't a new villain or a shocking cameo. It's Spider-Man himself. Right from the opening act, something feels off. Peter reaches for his web, nothing happens. A second later, webs suddenly fire on their own. Later, they're stronger than ever. Then they're completely out of control. At first, it almost looks like his web shooters are broken. But the truth is much stranger than that. Peter Parker isn't losing his powers. He's evolving. And that evolution could completely change the Spider-Man we've known for nearly 10 years in the MCU. So, what's actually happening? Let's break it down. It isn't a broken web shooter. The first thing many fans assumed was simple. Maybe Peter's mechanical web shooters were damaged. After all, Spider-Man has run out of web fluid before. He's broken his gadgets, he's repaired them countless times. But that's not what's happening here. Very quickly, the movie reveals that the problem isn't with Peter's suit, it's with Peter himself. His body is changing. Peter's DNA is mutating. Throughout the movie, Peter experiences severe headaches, blackouts, and strange physical changes. Then comes the biggest reveal. His spider DNA has become unstable. Instead of relying entirely on the mechanical web shooters he invented, Peter starts producing organic webs directly from his body. If that sounds familiar, you're probably thinking about Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Exactly. For the first time in Tom Holland's Spider-Man series, Peter begins developing organic webbing similar to Raimi's version. But unlike Tobey's Peter, Holland's version can't control it at first. Why he can't control his webs. Imagine waking up one morning and discovering your body suddenly works differently. That's exactly what Peter is experiencing. For years, every web he fired came from muscle memory. Press the trigger, aim, swing, simple. Now, his body is making the webs naturally. Sometimes they appear when he doesn't want them. Sometimes they don't appear when he desperately needs them. It's less like learning a new gadget and more like learning to use an entirely new limb. That's why Peter keeps struggling throughout the movie. He's trying to understand powers he's never had before. It's more than just webs. Here's where things get really interesting. The webs are actually the smallest part of the problem. As Peter's mutation continues, other abilities begin changing too. His strength increases, his instincts become more aggressive, his senses start overwhelming him. And there are moments where Peter genuinely fears he's losing control of himself. That's why he eventually seeks help from Bruce Banner, hoping someone who's experienced dangerous mutations can explain what's happening. Is Peter becoming Man-Spider? If you're a longtime comic fan, this probably sounds very familiar. Marvel Comics has explored stories where Peter's mutation keeps evolving. Instead of remaining a human with spider powers, he slowly becomes something much closer to an actual spider. Some storylines even transform him into the terrifying Man-Spider. Now, Brand New Day doesn't fully go that far, but it definitely borrows ideas from those comics. The headaches, the uncontrollable instincts, the biological changes. They're all signs that Peter's mutation is progressing in unexpected ways. Why Marvel made this change? Now here's the question I've seen everywhere online. Why change Spider-Man after nearly 10 years? The answer is surprisingly smart. Marvel wanted Peter to face a problem he couldn't solve with intelligence alone. He can't simply build a better web shooter. He can't invent a new gadget. The problem is inside his own body. That forces Peter to confront something completely new. Not a villain, but himself. And that's exactly what makes this story feel so personal. A clever callback to Tobey Maguire. There's another reason fans are loving this twist. It's a subtle callback to Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy. Tobey Maguire's Peter always produced webs organically. Tom Holland's Peter always relied on technology. Now, Brand New Day creates an interesting bridge between those two versions. It isn't copying Raimi's movies. It's taking a familiar idea and turning it into a mystery that fits Holland's Peter. It's nostalgic, but it also pushes the character in a completely new direction. What this means for Spider-Man's future. The biggest question isn't whether Peter will learn to control these new powers. He almost certainly will. The real question is, what happens after that? Will he abandon his mechanical web shooters altogether? Will his mutation continue evolving? Could these changes unlock even more spider-like abilities we've never seen in the MCU? Marvel doesn't answer those questions yet. Instead, the movie treats this as the beginning of a much larger story. And honestly, that might be the most exciting part. Because for the first time since his MCU debut, Peter Parker isn't just fighting new enemies. He's discovering that he still doesn't fully understand the powers inside him. There's another reason this storyline feels so important. For the first time in the MCU, Peter Parker can't simply rely on his intelligence to fix the problem. Think about every major challenge he's faced before. When his suit was damaged, he built a new one. When he ran out of web fluid, he made more. When technology failed, Peter's scientific mind always found an answer. But this time, there isn't a gadget to repair. There isn't a button to press. The problem is inside his own body. And that's a completely different kind of battle. In many ways, Brand New Day shifts Spider-Man away from being the kid who invents amazing technology and back toward the young man who has to understand what it truly means to be Spider-Man. That's what makes these web failures so much more than an action sequence. Every missed web, every awkward swing, every moment where Peter loses control represents his struggle to accept that he's changing. Sometimes growing stronger doesn't feel exciting. Sometimes it's confusing. Sometimes it's frightening. And that's exactly what Peter is experiencing. He's discovering that becoming Spider-Man wasn't a one-time event. It's an ongoing transformation, one that may continue changing him in ways he never expected. And if Marvel keeps exploring that idea in future films, this web problem might end up being remembered as the moment Peter Parker truly began evolving into the Spider-Man comic fans have known for decades. Final thoughts. So, why is Spider-Man struggling to shoot webs in Brand New Day? It's not because his web shooters are broken. It's because Peter Parker himself is changing. His spider DNA is evolving, giving him organic webbing and new abilities, but also taking away the control he's relied on for years. That struggle becomes one of the movie's most personal storylines, reminding us that sometimes the greatest challenge isn't defeating a villain, it's learning to live with who you're becoming. And if this is only the first stage of Peter's transformation, Marvel may have some even bigger surprises waiting in future Spider-Man movies. What do you think? Do you prefer Spider-Man using his classic mechanical web shooters? Or do you like the idea of organic webs becoming part of Tom Holland's version? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more Spider-Man, Marvel, Ending Explained videos, hidden details, Easter eggs, and the latest entertainment news.